Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Paupergeddon, the #1 horror rock MTG festival in the world, brought to you by the amazing people at Boose MTG. So huge shout out to them. Let me introduce ourselves. My name is Will Hall, better known on the internet as the Will Hall EXP, and I am joined by Sapo, who you are one of the founders of the Italian Pauper League. In fact, you know what I mean? Like, this is a huge festival for you. This is a big deal moving forward. What does this mean to you, like seeing all these people come together, over 700 players, over 1,000 for the whole weekend, all playing Pauper? What does that mean? You know, bear in mind, you've started this foundation, this league from the grass up to this point.
All this starts from the gathering part of Magic the Gathering.
The gathering part, the important part.
We love to gather each other, have some food and drink together. So all started with friends that meet for playing Magic the Gathering. All this kind of mentality will grow and bring us to this kind of event of is really very huge. I'm really happy that we arrived here.
And here is Paupergeddon, but this is like the pre-show on Friday. So Paupergeddon realistically kicks off tomorrow. Today is the Italian Pauper League, or the LPI. So it means something different in Italian than it does in English, but in English it's the Italian Pauper League. Tell me what the Italian Pauper League is. Like, I've got a small understanding, but to everybody at home, tell them what this is and how we've come together today for it.
First of all, we are all players. We are all volunteers that work together to take this kind of event worldwide. We started from 2 or 3 local leagues. The first one here in Tuscany, the second one in Milan, the third one in Turin. But every year, a lot of leagues join the circuit, so we can now we are happy to announce that we are over 50 leagues.
That's crazy.
52 active leagues in Italy and in Europe. We have leagues in Greece, in Spain, in Poland, in France, and continually grow.
It's just growing more and more. So
more
to qualify for today, what do players have to do to be able to qualify in today?
There are some kind of way that it allows you to participate to the invitational today. You can win a buy in a league or in some special events that will aggregate buys, or you need to top 8 at a Geddon.
Okay, so one of the leagues is if you top 8, that qualifies you to play today, and if you do well in it, you can also earn yourself buys for this, which is something we don't have in Magic at the minute. Like, we used to have it back in the day. That's something that we're introducing again here at these events, is, you know, being able to bring buys, so rewarding you for grinding the events and, you know, doing well in them to this. I'm getting thumbs up from the side here saying that we are ready to get down to our feature match here in round number 3 of 7 that we're bringing you today before that top 8. So let's get down to the feature match and see who we've got sat down on it and what decks they are playing. So I'm seeing Azorius Tribes versus Azorius Gates. Talk to me about these decks, because I know what Gates is, but what's Azorius Tribe?
This makes me smile because Tribe is a really weird deck. It's an old deck that uses Tireless Tribe, a card that costs 1, is a 0/4, it's a 0/4.
Okay.
And say that when you discard a card, it takes +0/+4.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we're getting a big toughness creature.
Of course, but the real combo is with Inside Out. An instant costs 1 and a hybrid blue-red mana. So you can cast with a red or with a blue. That allows you to switch power and toughness of the creatures.
Would that not kill the creature straight out because it would have 0 toughness?
But it is 1/1.
Oh, it's a what? It's okay. And then so the more we grow it huge, and then we turn it flip sideways.
The constitution become 1, so it doesn't die.
So do we attack with it, or do we fling it, or like what?
You can attack, but the list plays cards, for example, like Wedding Invitational that allows the creatures to can't be blocked. Or cards that gives shadows, for example, Shadow Rift. Or something like that allows you to bypass the blocking creatures of your opponents.
So something very off meta, really. This is, one of the decks we can't
It's a
even,
really strange
can't even
deck.
find it online. I tried before this, so I could have the access to have access to it. But up against Azorius Gates, kind of one of the more tier 1 decks in the format. Very good at grinding, very good at like, getting
the
advances.
mid-range.
Yeah, very, very, very good at that. And who would you say is favored in this, in game 1 here?
I don't know, because Azorius Tribe plays a lot of interaction that allows him to protect the creature. So, for example, a lot of cards that remain in my heart, for example, circular logic. That is a counter. It's a counter. You can cast with madness.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you discard it. And
You
can
discard,
counter.
and
Okay.
yeah, of course, and it counters a target spell unless the player pay 1 for each card in your graveyard.
Oh, and because you're filling your graveyard so much. Okay, I like
you have
that.
a bigger graveyard.
I'm all about that.
Then,
One thing we see in Pauper a lot is a lot of, I would call them draft mechanics. Mechanics you don't typically see in other formats. But, like flanking's a thing in this. And as you see, like we don't see madness too much. But that's one of the better aggro decks currently in the format is the red, black madness decks. So talk to me about what we're seeing here. What's going on?
That's bad. That's Prismatic Strand.
Yep.
That is a good interaction with this kind of deck. But I know that Alessandro Morino, that's the pilot
player,
of
yep.
Tribe deck, is a good combo player. He usually play Mogwarts. That is a combo with the black-red combo with goblins.
Okay.
On the first day of school. But I know that he knows how to play against that kind of interaction.
So we're seeing it as well as we're seeing a lot of the fetch lands, so to speak. We see them very common. They're actually in standard at the minute, of course. We see them there. So why are we using these sort of fetch lands? Is this to thin the deck, or is this to, as you said, fill our graveyard up for potentially some of the future spells we got?
Fetch are really interesting because if I'm not wrong, that card permits to by sacrificing it to make the creatures with power 2 or less unblockable.
Oh, it's that one. So
Yeah,
okay, so
I
you can
think-
tap it. So we do that in before, and then we kind of do the combo to make
Yeah.
our creature big and flip it. Okay, I like that little synergies in these decks, and this is what I love about Pauper. And what I
Yeah.
kind of fall in love with is just I'm always learning. I'm always finding some sort of different niche of someone's deck that I've never seen this deck before. What does it do? And I'm learning this year as we go along with it, and that's why they pick me in the booth with experts like yourself. You've seen it all, you've done it all, and you're going to kind of hold my hand through this as we see we're going to get flipped, so we're going to get 2-3 on the battlefield now, which means that can get turned sideways as of next turn. So it does come into play with Summon and Sickness. And how does Gates win? What's the main way of winning?
Azorius Gate is a mid-range deck, so first of all, it needs to stabilize the gameplay. The first point out on the to-do list is not die.
Yep, that is match 1 of Magic. That's the first thing they teach you is do not lose the game because you
Do not
cannot
lose
win.
the game.
Can't win if you've lost. Correct.
After have gained the control of the board on the opponent's play, he wins beating with flying creatures or beating with the Guardian of the Guild Pact.
And I was about to say,
Is a creatures that have protection from monocolor. Pumped with the Basilisk Gate.
and that's what I was going to say. That's why we call it the Gates deck, right? It's,
Yeah.
you say win with flyers and win with unblockable creatures, but they're normally like 1 or 2 power. The real power of this deck is using Gates to our advantage, giving that creature +X.
Yeah.
And normally, because they're unblockable or some sort of evasion, that means that they can get them across the line. That's why it makes it a really good mid-range deck. But what's the earliest that this Azorius Tribe, the combo deck, can win? What's like? Are we just setting up now? Is this what we're doing? We're just turning and burning for a little bit, and then potentially next turn we just win out of nowhere, or do we still need a couple more turns to set up to get that big one shot?
First turns goes to set up the combo. Azorius Tribe is a strange deck that allows you to close to win on the second turn if you have the combo set, but you have to. You're gonna have a painted hand.
You got to have the perfect hand to build up. But it
hand.
that's crazy that you can win on turn 2.
Yeah.
Even in Pauper, which is going to be this underpowered format.
It's very
all
difficult
you can
and
use
very
is
rare,
common.
but it can happen.
Look, that's what I need. You telling me there's a chance? I'll take it. I'm happy with that, and I'm cool. I feel like personally, the way more that I've played Pauper over the last month, I've been gravitated towards these combo decks. Like I'm a huge fan of Poison Storm. That's if anybody's playing that in the room and we ain't getting them on camera, I'm gonna be really upset. That's the one deck I want to see.
Yeah, a friend of mine plays Poison Storm. He's a really strange person.
Look, we that's just described all Impact players there. You know, we are a unique breed. But you know, when you like something, you just like it. It is what it is. I also like Cycle Storm. That's been a deck that I've got.
the second deck that guy plays.
I need to meet this guy. He sounds really cool. He sounds a really awesome lad. We're just gonna play another gate and pass the turn
I can introduce
back.
him to you if you want.
I'm down with that. Let's do it. I'm always down. Finding more of my own. We can talk about our fun interactive decks. Not.
Not today.
No, not. We are a unique breed. Okay, like chat's loving this this deck here, the Elzos tribal deck, and how they're saying it can win turn 2. Love to see it. They also love a bit of Cycle Storm. That's what I like to see. Chat. Let's go. Because you got so many crazy cards that are legal in this format, like things like Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, Counterspell, Brainstorms, all these like legacy staples are legal in this. All the card needs to do to be illegal in Pauper is be printed at common at some era of Magic. And obviously Magic's 30 years old now, so there's a lot of them.
We had Gush, we had Days, but they were banned.
Yeah, a little bit too powerful.
Here too. But we have Brainstorm, for example. Brainstorm is a huge card.
Very good card.
We have a lot of cards that make this format funny. I think that there are of really, really powerful card. Talking about Zodi's Gate, for example, that deck doesn't play really powerful legacy card, for example. But I love the property of that deck to play as an aggro or as a control.
Oh yeah, well it's like the mid-range decks, right?
It can do it.
You can switch which side of the thing you need to. You say it doesn't play powerful cards as Brainstorm goes on the stack, but I don't know what you mean. Like when we go against aggro decks, we know we're the control deck. When we go against control decks, we know that we need to be the aggro deck. So it knows which gear it needs to be in.
It played Counterspell too, but
it also plays Counterspell. That one's pretty good. I heard. I've lost to that quite a lot as well. Do you think with Modern Horizons 3 coming out now, are we going to see a shift in the meta? Is there going to be any surprises this weekend of decks that are coming out of nowhere? Like, could there be an energy deck popping up? Or,
of course.
Even things like this Azorius Trouble deck, does this gain anything from Modern Horizons 3? And
No.
is that why that's going to be a good choice this weekend?
Even Azorius Gate, I think that didn't take nothing new for Modern Horizon 3.
Oh, it didn't? Okay.
No, I think that there's not. Maybe Trab and Charm.
Okay.
It is an instant that allows you to, is a modular spell. It may let you do 3 things. And it is a nice card that is good and have the same plan of the deck that can do multiple things. Modular spell are always good with this kind of deck. But the great news is the deck that I told you 5 minutes that before we start this stream, that is broad scale combo. I'm very curious about that deck.
And how good it can be. Like, is it a flash in the pan, or is it going to get superb results?
Yeah, it can. It has a lot of potentiality.
Well, we're going to find out this weekend, and that's what
I really hope it.
We've got 3 whole days of Pauper live coverage here on this channel. So if you haven't hit that follow button, you need to hit that follow button if you are a fan of this format, or just live event Magic in general, because Paupergeddon also has Damnation, its sister event. That goes live every year as well, so make sure you do hit that follow button. We're kind of going through the turn and burn here. We see Counterspell is going to take that cat, but it's going to go into the graveyard. So it can come back out because of it's got Embalm, I think is the mechanic, is it? Where 1 white mana, we can get it back out of the graveyard.
Yeah, it is an activate ability, so it can't be countered.
Is life total going to be key in this matchup? You say that we can get like a big 1-shot combo in. Is it infinite damage if that creature attacks?
No. It doesn't make an infinite damage, but a huge
chunk.
Amount of damage.
If we can gain large chunks of damage with a life linker and being able to give it at the minute, it would be currently plus.
Gaining life is a problem.
5,
it's a problem for Azorius Tribe. Yeah, of course.
Does it take a lot of resources to pull the combo off? Like, can we only really do that combo once in a game, or is it once we've got it, we can do it every single turn?
No, it's pretty an all-in combo.
Oh,
it's life fling.
Okay, so it really
use pretty all your hand resources to make your creatures huge.
Has it got a good way of refilling its hand? Like,
without Gush, it's pretty difficult.
Okay.
But you have cards like, for example, Deep Analysis that allows you to draw two flashbacking
Oh yeah,
from the graveyard.
we've got some spells on the stack right now, so maybe we'll be seeing this combo getting pulled off while no life has been gained. Only 19, that is the damage, that is the target we need to hit to end this match. So I think we're going through, does this resolve sort of territory now? Only 3 mana up.
You need to discard 5 cards.
So is that, so if we discard 5 cards, but we've only got 4 cards in hand.
Yeah, but for example, Inside Out cycle itself. Because it's Witch and draw a card.
Okay, okay. It looks like we are paying...
It's a counterspell.
2 mana for counterspell going on the stack. Again, legal in this format. Now, do we have a way to fight against this? I think.
No, Zodia's Gate doesn't play powerful cards. Yeah.
Doesn't play powerful cards, as we see.
The last famous word.
So this is the counterspell for the graveyard, right?
Yep. Circular logic, yep.
So now they've got to pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards, I believe. So this is a kind of a crazy mana leak. Pay 8 for this your counterspell.
I think he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it.
Well, we've got 4. You know, unless there's some crazy way in Pauper I'm missing, we could do. There are ways of making a lot of mana at instant speed, just not in these decks. And we might just have to let that resolve. And then maybe if this does resolve and we can start pulling our combo off, it's just going to be GG's.
He's trying because another interaction here is lethal for Azorius Tribe. So because he doesn't have the mana to make the creatures unblockable. But I think that it's unblockable, due to the land.
Okay, so
I was talking about.
So it looks like what we're going through now is, in fact, talk to me what's happening now. So we're discarding a lot of cards. Talk to me about the combo. What is everybody seeing right now?
This is the key card of the deck. It calls White Out. That allows you to, he's a green card, you never cast it. But if you sacrifice a snow land, you can take it back from the graveyard.
So you keep.
So you discard, sacrifice a land.
We got
discard, sacrifice a land.
So we got removal on the stack right now. So at the minute, 2 damage is being dealt to
Another circular logic here.
And a second one while that cycles on the stack. So now, because it deals damage, basically each damage does creature does 2 damage basically, and we're going all in on this. And it looks like because we got the removal spell for it, he's like, "Yep, you got me. We're going to go to a game 2." So I think Gates managed to take down game 1 there.
That was Trouble and Charm.
Yeah, that's the one you were talking about from Modern Horizons 3.
Yep.
2 copies in the main. Like it seems a little bit like a sideboard card because it's got 3 modes. One's for graveyard synergies. One is for
it's a pretty good
enchantment.
card.
Seeing them in the main copy is really cool to see them. Being able to take advantage of them in these guild decks. So sideboarding. Let's talk to me about sideboarding. So we're a game down now on this tribal deck. What sort of cards could we see coming out of the sideboard?
One keyword: interaction.
Just any sort of interaction.
Is the way to win this matchup. Both parts.
So I've got access to a deck list here, so I'm going to shout out a few cards to you. So Blacksmith Skills.
Allows you +2/+2 and gain indestructible,
indestructible.
something like that. Something like that.
Do you think that this is the matchup for it?
That's not the matchup.
But 2 dispels.
Because, Trouble and Charm deal damage. So maybe yes. I think that, but the problem is that Azorius Gate hit from 2 sides. That one is the removal side. That the other side is the counter.
So that brings on to the next one. So there's 2 dispels in the deck. Surely that's going to be a good sort
he will side in a lot of cards here.
So
Morino.
Does this deck? I'll rattle all the cards off on the side, but then we'll talk about like how this maybe can utilize it. And as you say, if a lot of cards come in, does that dilute our actual game plan? But we've got 2 dispels, 2 Echoing Truce, 2 Digidros.
I think that is the key card here.
What does it do?
The card is 1 mana blue instant, tap a permanent, but it has replicate.
Okay, so you can end the turn, tap down a load of the stuff, untap, try and go for your combo.
That's the way.
4 Hydroblast, which again, Pauper in general means that these cards have been printed.
I think that
the great
a pair of
cards.
copy will go in because Azorius Gate play the red can use red mana to Pyroblast, for example.
So you're having some sort of targets to that, and then we've got Prismatic Strands is the last one.
Prismatic Strands, I think, not.
This isn't the matchup for it.
No, you must push here. You don't want to play.
Sit back on the defense.
On the defense,
you want to be the aggressor. I got you.
You are the aggressor, yeah.
And on the flip side, on the Azorius Gate side, we've got 4 Hydroblast, 4 Red Elemental Blast, 4 Dust to Dust, 1 Dispel,
right?
1 Dispel, and 2 Dragon's Breath. So yes, it's
This spell, I like it.
I like to spell, making our stuff a bit cheaper. Also, note 7, there's a couple of spell pierces and stuff in the main as well. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think too much sideboarding is going to happen on the gate side, but as I say, on the Azorius tribe side, that there's a few cards that we could be bringing in to shore up this matchup. Are we going to fall into the trap though of, say, I bring 8 cards in out of my sideboard, take 8 cards out of my main deck? That now means my main deck is going to be less valuable to do my actual game plan.
It's really hard because you can denaturalize the deck if you remove too much cards from the main board. So it is really, really, really difficult in this matchup where you must side a lot of cards.
So how many key cards are there in the deck? Like I think you said 3 or 4 cards. So does that mean 16 to 8 to 20 cards potentially untouchable in the deck?
It depends. If you have white out, you can have less cards in hand due to sacrificing your lands on the battlefield. It depends. It depends on how much you can set up before trying to go all in.
And so this is a closed decklist tournament, so no one actually knows what's in your opponent's 75. But you've got a good idea, especially if if you've played in the Italian Pauper League, you've played a lot of Pauper, you fully understand what decks can do, and so when they were tapped down low with only 3 mana and a couple of treasure tokens, they thought that was going to be the optimal time to go for it. Do they now have to kind of respect it a little bit more because we had the perfect 3 cards in hand. We had counterspell plus double removal, which was enough to line up that matchup. We'll get the graphic updated. We are 1 game up for Ledo on the top of your screen here, going into game number 2 here, or round number 3. Why would you see Azorius tribes? Why are we seeing that at a 2-0 record? Is this an off-meta deck that potentially is taking advantage of people not knowing what this deck does? Like, if I played against it, I'd be like, I have no idea what you're doing.
It's a pretty famous deck in the old times. So
before my time,
a lot of players know what tribes do.
Okay, and the good thing about this and live paper coverage here, brought to you by the beautiful people at Boose MTG, is everybody now gets to learn this along with me.
It's not mainstream right now, but we have long memory.
It might be after this weekend if it takes it down. You know what I mean? Does puts up a great showing this weekend at PauperGeddon. Maybe this will become an on-meta deck. Maybe we'll start seeing it crop up online a little bit. Is it a lot of clicks? Is this why we don't see it too much on Magic Online, which is realistically a lot of Pauper played at the minute is played on Magic Online for that reason? Is this one of the decks that it's just too many clicks, so players stay away from it?
It's not so click intensive.
It's not
kind of deck. No, I think that you don't need to have a lot of recursion, for example, like Familiar.
Okay.
So you need to click, and click again. Here the problem is that online there is a pretty different metagame. So Tribe is an unfortunate deck that has a lot of hate due to the high presence of mono red, for example.
Yeah, which is a very popular deck online. It's easier just to get 5 games in, get a league done and go. So that's one of the weaknesses of this deck, is it's not great in aggressive formats.
Yeah.
Or metas, aggressive metas, sorry.
It depends. Mono red has a lot of cheap interactions, so Azorius Tribe suffer a lot here. But in a non-red aggro meta game, he's pretty well.
Okay, so
it depends on the interaction that your opponent has.
Well, we see in the sideboard, obviously, there's a couple of combos for that with prismatic strands. You're kind of trying to shore that matchup up. But at the minute, we're just going to get a bit of chip damage in, so just 1 point damage coming across, down to 19 life. Turn 2, turn 3, this is where we start generating some of the value in these gate decks, right? There's a lot of bounce effects, there's a lot of ETB effects, and there's another gate off the top.
And inside out here was game.
Oh, okay.
No blocker, no interaction.
So if we had it that turn, we could have gone for it. Could we have fought for a counterspell in that interaction or not?
Lucky Ledda.
Lucky we've got it. I got you. We're turning everything sideways yet again. So again, potentially, if we even had it this turn, we could go for it, right? Like, there's a potential on the other side. There's what's the worst that could happen? Counterspell, maybe a spell pierce and a spell, probably the perfects to have against the combo. But we're not forced to fire it off right now. There's nothing else on the other side of the battlefield. Potentially, led at the top of your screen as sideboarded into more of a control strategy, brought in a lot more of the.
I think that.
and just waiting for them to go off turn. Doesn't need to fire off any of their spells. Doesn't need to get greedy. Is going to wait until we go for the combo, and that's when we're going to start firing off our interaction to try and to use all the mana up on both sides of the battlefield at once.
The problem of the Roost Tribe is that you need you can't have hexproof, for example. So you need to use all your resources, and your opponent have a spot at the end of your combo playing that allows him to beat you.
Okay.
This is the huge problem of Tribe, I think, that you cannot, for example, give hexproof and do all your stuff with no disturb.
Yeah, you can't give it for. I got you. Your shields are going to be down at some point, so you need to make sure you utilize all your resources in that exact turn.
The weakest point of this deck is at the end after you use all your resources.
So you use all your spells. You've got nothing left in hand. Yeah. It's not got hexproof, and something just like the
previous Trouble Charm.
Yeah. Some sort of interaction at the end of it will be able to do it because it's only going to have one toughness.
Precisely.
So, any sort of, even a shock would really do it.
And all the damage that you deal to Tireless Tribe before the switch.
Oh, yeah, because if you do it and then when it switches the power around, it's going to have that amount of damage on the stack or on the creature.
Yeah.
So when it switches, it's also, that's a good interaction.
If you deal other damages after the switch, if you discard, you pump the power.
Okay. Yeah, I get you.
Because the effect remain on the cards of the switch. So you cannot protect by itself effect.
So one of the things we're seeing here, and it's very disciplined, right? So clearly has had some cards in hand that they could have played, but they've left up 3 mana the whole time. Got to this point now where we've got 5 mana. We're able to at least start deploying some threats on the battlefield while holding up this 3 mana. What sort of spells, are we on a double interaction here? Maybe like Spell Pierce plus removal?
Triple interaction. There is a Prismatic Sand in the graveyard, but still not white creatures on the board.
And remind people that it is a free spell, but how can you cast it from the graveyard?
Yeah, you can cast from the graveyard by simply tap white creatures you control.
Just a single white creature, we tap it.
A single white creature, yeah.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Pretty powerful. That's it's actually crazy, especially
with this kind of deck, a lot more powerful. Because you have no interaction with opponent creatures as a Zosh's Tribe.
Here comes the second one into the graveyard. So now we're just missing a single white creature on the battlefield, and we basically can fog for 2 turns, which you've already established. This is a one-shot combo deck. Is there any ways to stop the prevention from happening in this deck?
There are cards. The only one card that allows you to prevent this kind of interaction is Flaring Pain.
And that's 1 red, right?
But it's a red spell, yeah, of course. So I think that this kind of deck doesn't play Flaring Pain.
So we're seeing a bit of a counter spell wall here.
There were ancient list of Jeskai Tribe for Pyroblast and Flaring Pain, but I think that's not worth today.
Well,
I think that's not worth today. Play this kind of deck.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you can't cast it if you don't have the right mana for it. And if you want to get greedy in Pauper, because we don't have the rare, we don't have fetches, we don't have shocks, we don't have the untapped dual sources. Most of the dual sources come into play tapped in this format. So there is a downside to playing 3-color decks, but it's also a very good upside to it, as we see in this Gates next. Now just fired off a red elemental blast to counter the counter spell that was on the stack.
Yep.
And here comes, is that Squadron Hawks?
The whole good times when Squadron Hawk were cast with Jace, the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, it's
limited.
But it's 2 mana for a 1/1 flyer that draws you 3 cards, basically, right? It's a perfect card, especially in these in the mid-range matchups. It can be a blocker it needs to. It can be the extra cards we need for discarding, just to go deeper in our deck. As we now the saga is going to flip into a 2/3 with flying.
We only need something like the GT of Yumezawa or Sword of Fire and Ice.
just something simple like that.
Yeah,
why not? It'll be perfectly balanced.
Small like
But more importantly, we've got the white creature on the battlefield now. So that, as long as that's on the battlefield, it is now going to be the fog.
The biggest problem at this time.
And I'm going to have a little look at the deck. Let's see if there's any good ways of actually getting it off the battlefield. Doesn't look like there's, I want to say, any ways of getting it off the battlefield. Echoing Truth. Bouncing it back. Maybe they came in knowing that there's Squadron Hawks on the other side. It can bounce all of them back in one turn to get that one big hit across, potentially. But we're going to have to see Brainstorm on the stack. So we're going to look at the top three. No, we're going to pick the top three cards in our hand, pick 2 back. There's a little bit more upside to Brainstorm than look at the top 3. You definitely get those 3 into hand. I'm thinking of obviously Pono and Preordained.
That's not a Pauper playing.
Yeah, that's another one of these powerful
Compared to
cards.
other decks, obviously.
I don't play it in my Poison Storm deck. It's not a thing. I like my proliferate cards or bust for me.
I think that tomorrow maybe we can have here on Discord in a call one of the greatest player of Poison Storm ever. It's a work in progress. We're working on it.
It wouldn't make anyone else happy besides me, but I do love that deck. I think it's got some really cool interactions, and it took me a little while to learn it, but once I learned it, I was like, okay, yeah, cool. This is my deck. I actually got a 5 over it the other week, which was humble brags from this has-been caster. But right, back to the match. So we're going to cycle as Lawrence revealed. We're going to go find ourselves in Island. Put that to the grip. Still land drop for the turn, so it's going to go straight into play. I love it when players do that.
A lot of mana.
It's not going to even touch my hand. It's going straight into play. But now, because we're getting towards the mid to late game of this matchup, now this is where Gates can start really turning these flyers into huge flyers and potentially trying, if we can make one of these creatures with 10 power, that's a 2-turn clock.
Never want to arrive at this point of the match. Never.
We're just getting in there for 2 and leaving up our mana. So, really giving signals that we've got some sort of interaction in case you were going to go off. End of turn, we're going to see Brainstorms. Top 3 cards going to go to the grip. 2 back on top. And we've got this land can get fetched, right? Is this a fetch land?
I think that's a panorama.
So we can shuffle away the top 2 cards. We see this a lot in Legacy. We don't see it in modern cards. It's not legal in modern, but just knowing these little niche interactions, having a
what
fresh
about now, modern players? We can do it. No.
Hey, look, we just got Counterspell back in the last however long. So we're happy. We got a whole set. We got Bond Horizons 3. It's great. Loads of new cards in there, really flipping that format upside down. But also having an impact on Pauper, and that's what we're going to be bringing you all weekend long. I haven't seen one sneaky snacky yet, which I really want to see.
Me too.
I just want to say
I'm really curious about it.
I just want to say it on commentary continuously. It's got such a cool little name attached to it.
I'm a lot of curious. The broad scale combo part. I'm really curious of seeing how Sneaky Snacker perform and how the little mouse.
The familiar?
The familiar.
Yeah.
I'm really curious.
That one I think is going to do a lot more. We'll fit in a lot more houses because it's got affinity.
I think that tomorrow we'll see a lot of that kind of deck.
I was speaking to Gavin about this, and people have described that card to me as the grief of Pauper.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a 2/4 when it enters the battlefield.
The Pauper version.
Yeah, it's the Pauper version of grief. Here comes the second Squadron Hawk. Obviously, no searching needs to happen because we already put the other 3 into our hand.
Literally, Mom, please buy me grief. No,
we've got grief at home. Yeah, love the meme. I love how disciplined we're being here. We're just getting all these little bits of chip damage in. And if we just get enough chip damage in over the next couple of turns, it will just leave us open for that one big shot in the final turn to kind of get lethal across the line. So
he doesn't have the Basilisk Gate.
But they'll draw it soon enough. They always have it.
That's not a problem. It's a psychological move. I can beat you one damage at a time.
They might just have it in hand and wait for that big one shot. If they had it now, would they be using it? Or would they still be leaving up mana, kind of, making my opponent think that I've got the interaction for when they go for the one shot? Especially when I've got 2 ways to fog basically at instant speed that costs 0 mana currently.
0 mana. It has too much interaction for me right now.
So basically,
I don't want to lose my balance right now, but it's really hard.
It's definitely an uphill battle right now of trying to get across the line. 4 mana. This is going to be what?
Oh, a Jade Rose.
What I say, talk to me. What does this card do?
It taps the permanent.
This is the tap. So we're going to tap down 2 Squadron Hawks.
Yep.
Which means that
the blue mana, of course, the blue source of mana.
I think it's the red source we're tapping. I think this gate's on red. So you turn off Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blasts, and maybe 1 treasure token. I think
it's a treasure token. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't recognize it.
Yeah, 2 treasure tokens on the battlefield. So I think we're going to go for the hard permanents here. And then we still got a 2 mana up. So we're sculpting our hand. Maybe this is enough for them to just start firing off some counter magic. And Somehow we added a treasure token. I'm not entirely sure how a treasure token is made. Maybe one of those lands produces a treasure token if we tap X mana.
This is a treasure token.
Yeah, but it was on 2. It's just gone up to 3. What?
He used it to. Yeah, I think with hip gate.
Oh,
Let you to generate.
Yeah. So the
treasure
gate generates. So why? In response to them being tapped down, we're going to generate another treasure token.
Totally broken.
Which in itself means, we're trying to get them out of red mana here, so our counter spells are going to be better in this battle.
Let's go.
But you think this is it? You think this is the turn we fire it all off? I see here you doing the math. It looks like
here we go.
Yeah, it looks like we're going for it. Okay, here comes.
Here comes the first.
Yeah, first. Is this Pyro? No, it's not. It's Hydroblast. This one.
Yep.
The one.
He's a red spell, so.
So yeah, so 1 mana counter to that. Now, nope, can't do that in response.
That's not.
Dispel this. Love a stack. How about second one? Hydroblast number 2. These are the fancy Jace storybook arts, I believe. Dispel again on that one.
That's the
third Hydroblast.
Too much time. Too much time to set up. Too much time.
There are 4 dispels in this deck. Okay.
Secret logic.
Secret logic. So we got
1 mana left.
We got to pay a gazillion mana for that one. Are we still able to combo from this point? Oh, they're looking. If you got the green card, every one of these lands could be on.
Yeah.
And we've only got 3 treasure tokens left up. I think it was
snowball until you have so much resources to try and all in and a counter where. All in one turn.
I think we've got a removal spell in hand. I think we got the Fragrance.
Another circular logic, yeah.
Fragrance Charm. I think we've got that in hand. I think that's what we got up on our leather side. So I think there's this resolves, sure. Now
3 mana remaining.
Yeah.
On the other side.
And the charm's only 2, right? And at the minute the charm would do 6 damage. And 1 card left in hand.
Circular logic, it was discarded by the ability of.
If there's 1 card left in hand, we know that that's a preordained because we accidentally played it earlier. So all the knowledge is face up. We know that that's not the card because of accidentally revealing the wrong card. So this is.
Charm.
So here we go. Here comes the Favor's Charm. 6 damage is going to be dealt. I think maybe by revealing that card, it might have cost us. Yeah, it's the handshake.
No way out. No way out.
That's and it was only getting worse every time. It was only getting worse.
Even with the without, he cannot win. He had too much interaction here.
You're telling me that triple Hydroblast plus removal spell is too much interaction, as well as 2 fog effects in the graveyard that you can cast for free. Yeah, it's a little bit
more interaction than cards on the board.
Not many decks are going to be able to fight their way through that, unfortunately. For that, I'm going to see if we're going to. Are we trying to get a backup feature match? We're going to see if we can move like another table potentially across to the feature match area, because this is round number 3, ladies and gentlemen, of 7 that we'll be bringing you today. And then we move to the top 8, and obviously there's a bunch of prizes on the line. There's a bunch of guest appearances from we've got Gavin Verhey in the room, we've got Emma Parlow. She'll be jumping in at some point. So all these huge Pauper panelists they come together, they decide what is too good, what is good. For the format, they just had it in Modern Horizons 3. They did a pre-ban before the set was even out, which personally I'm a fan of. If you're going to ban something, ban it before the set's out, so I don't buy into that deck. I don't buy all the copies of that card, and then you ban it, and I feel bad for it, and I get a bit of salty taste in the mouth. I much prefer when it's I like the pre-bans of it all. What do you think? What do you think? Do you like the pre-ban or?
It doesn't happen so often. So I was really happy that the Pauper format panel first of all exists.
Yeah. The fact you've got one is good. Yeah,
I'm really happy about it. But second of all, I was really happy that a card like that was pre-banned. It's this kind of format with the artifact lens.
Yeah, that's the synergies of that
that's
deck.
The key. That's the key of
huge.
It creates a lot of synergy with all this kind of cards. So, for example, cards like all the glitters, cranial plating that was banned to the origin of the format, and RAM 2 are too powerful. If cards like Artifact Land that enters untapped, the ones from the mirror cycle, the first one that ever exists, are still in the format.
So let's talk about these lands. Obviously, super powerful, right? Having an untapped land so you can tap for mana straight away. It's also an artifact. Affinity is a mechanic in Magic the Gathering. And we see that utilized quite a lot in Pauper. You know what I mean? That's how we can get out things like the Refurbished Familiar early, start generating our value. But there is a downside to it, right? There is a lot of artifact hate in the format, purposely for that reason. I'm thinking of like Gorilla Shaman, which is just straight 1 mana, destroy lands, which is if you expect a very artifact-heavy meta, you can almost main deck 1 or 2 of them to really hedge against those bets, and especially after sideboards, when they come into effect, these artifact decks lose a lot of their potential game 1 power. But that's always been a thing in Magic, right? Affinity decks have always tried to steal game 1, and then they try to win game 2 or 3.
But don't you think that having a sideboard card in the main board will polarize too much a format?
No and yes. Like, I think it's a metagame call, right? And it will reward you a lot for knowing the format, which anything in Magic does. Like, you will see the players that are very good at Magic and at a particular format always being able to achieve more greatness than others because they've spent a lot of time in that and they understand the interactions. Like, if me and you went now playing that Pauper tournament, you're going to do a lot better than me because you'd know that you're playing against a deck where I'd be like, I don't know what you're doing. So I'm just going to hope for the best. And that's going to reward you in that. So then you're going to be like, okay, well, I think this card's been printed. A lot of people are going to turn up with affinity lists. I'm going to dedicate 2 cards that would normally be in my sideboard to my main deck, so you are better this weekend. Overall, if the whole format goes long and in 6 months' time people are still main decking affinity hate, let's say, or a certain hate card towards a deck, then yeah, maybe the format needs to be a little bit swept up. But for me, coming from the outside, from a modern legacy kind of point of view, I think this is the most balanced format we have in Magic the Gathering. I think they have absolutely hit the nail on the head that every deck has always got something that they can do against other decks. There's no polarizing tier 1 deck that everybody's got a target on. There's very good decks in the format, and so there should be, but you can also turn up with Poison Storm and still put up a really good I'm gonna hammer on that over the weekend chat until I get it on stream. But
before the end of the weekend, I will gift you an entire Poison Storm. I swear.
I own it in paper. Like this, I see. So I've come from the outside.
Don't you have it in paper?
I've got it in paper. So
okay.
Bear in mind, 4 weeks ago I didn't own a Pauper deck and have barely played Pauper. To now I'm so deep in this format. I literally love it. I love all the interactions and everything it does. To the point where I've bought Pauper decks. I've got the Ponza list now. I've got Cycle Storm. I've got Poison Storm. I've got the Affinity list.
How make your God cry?
What?
How make your God cry?
How do I make God cry?
Playing Ponza.
No, but it's not.
I really hate it.
Do you think it's Ponza now, or do you think it's going to be moving more towards the green, red, or Drazi lists that we're seeing popping up?
I really like that card, the Chrysalis.
Yeah, the Chrysalis is great.
Yeah, I really like it. But unfortunately, it is played in the worst deck ever, Ponza. I really hate it.
Is it the worst deck, or you just
I'm
not
a
like
familiar
it?
player.
You're what player?
I play Familiar.
Oh, okay.
That is a deck that plays bounce lands.
So
Natural enemy.
Yeah,
of
you don't even think
Ponza.
it's Ponza. But and then,
So I really
when I
hate
was
that.
playing with Eco Baron, I wasn't playing with Eco. I was casting with Eco Baron last weekend. Shout out to you, good sir. It was basically guiding me and telling me all the cool interactions. And I was like, well, why are we playing these bounce lands in Pauper? Like, is the mana that bad that we have to play? And he's
Because
like, no,
you play Snap.
Well, he was saying that it's also basically these bounce lands are a land that draws you a card. Like, that's a little bit of incremental value. I play my bounce land, I get another card back to my hand. I can now use that card to basically discard for something else, or it's going to enable to hit my land drop. I only need these 2 lands, and basically they represent 3 mana.
The main point is because you play Snap that allows you to untap 2 lands.
Which is in that deck it's huge. Like,
It costs 1 mana, 1 blue mana, because you make it cost less with the Familiar.
Yep, and then you can bounce something, untap 2 of them.
Yeah, it ramps a lot your gameplay. So that's the only reason because you play the bounce lands. Without that card, bounce lands are suboptimal right now.
But you see bounce lands in Boros lists, even in like the black-red list. There's always like 1 or 2 of them showing up in these lists purely for that extra bit of card advantage.
Yeah,
that they can
it is a card. It is a 2 mana with 1 card, so it allows you to play less lands. But that's another kind of interaction with the deck.
But I'll argue that's an interaction you don't see in any other format. Like
No,
this is the
no.
format for it, and it's cool.
Bounceland
That,
are played in modern, but only with Titan.
in
for
one
example.
deck.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It is a very
one
powerful
specific
deck.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't count.
But they pair it with like amulets and stuff. But in Pauper, they found their own advantage or way to gain kind of advantage from these cards, which I think like looking at it, I'm like, that's so big brain. Like I don't know why I didn't think about it, but it's so big brain and seeing that moving forward. So it's really, really cool. Let's have a little look. What's chat saying? Poison the best. Thank you very much, chat. I'll take that all day long. I say
he's the one.
That's the founder of the Poison Storm
one.
deck. So huge shout out to you, sir. Welcome. I hope you're going to
Jake,
have a great time.
Get ready. We're working to have you tomorrow or the day after. So stay tuned, chat.
No, we're going to be trying to get links to deck lists for tomorrow. So when PauperGeddon kicks off, today is the Italian Pauper League. Are we calling this the finals? Is this
the
finals?
top power players, the invitational of the final?
The invitational. So
the
basically,
most powerful player of the year.
All the best players that have qualified for this through numerous different regions around Europe have all come together today to battle it out to try and call themselves the champion. You're going into PauperGeddon saying that you're the Pauper champion. It's got a pretty good title, pretty good ring to it, where then tomorrow we kick off PauperGeddon, which is a 2-day, it's like the old GP style 2-day event of everyone just playing Pauper back-to-back. Obviously, you do have a great run day 1, then we invite you back to playing day 2.
711 players.
Is that what we're at the minute?
Until now.
I'm getting told hand signals 5 more minutes, and then what? Do you want a break or another match? Another match. Okay. Oh, okay. We've got 5 minutes left of this round. Okay, I got you. So we're getting told by producer. We've got 5 more minutes. So that means there's a few more questions. If you've got questions you want us to answer, whack it in the chat. I'll pass it across to Sapo. Sapo will be able to answer it because he knows a lot more about this format than me. I'm very new. I'm very fresh at it. And hopefully a lot of you watching are also and kind of falling in love with this format as we go along. We're going to do our best to try and give you the best coverage we can. So if you do like Paper Magic, make sure you hit the follow button on this channel because it goes live not only for PauperGeddon, but there's also Damnation events that happen on this channel. So, if you like Live Paper Modern and some of the other Eternal formats, that you need to start hitting that follow button because Boose MTG, they are genuinely they're one of my favorite people in Magic the Gathering in general.
I really love it.
They do so much for the community, and this really is a fan event put on by the fans. This is for the players, by the players. So they've got one of the cool interactions used to be when everyone brings their food from their local, from your hometown, everybody has their local foods. They bring it here and everybody shares that. There's actually been, and I'm an Englishman, so
what do you think about pineapple pizza?
Personally, not my thing. Ooh. You know what I mean? Not personally not my thing. I much prefer chicken with some spice on it. Nando, shout out to you. But I was going to talk about the beer.
Saved.
There's an actual beer has been produced for PauperGeddon. There's a brewery that the person that puts us on is close with, and they brewed a beer purposely for PauperGeddon. So there is a PauperGeddon beer that you can only get this weekend, which in itself
dedicated event tomorrow. The day after tomorrow. Sorry.
As an Englishman, I'm all about that. You know what I mean? Like the Euros are on at the minute, so the football's coming out. So that means I need to have a few beers going on. Is Slivers to the deck in Pauper?
1,700 slivers, so that's my wet dream.
I do love a bit of Paupers. I love that. Yeah, Gates did win game 2. They had triple Hydro Blast into a removal spell, and that was just a little bit too much for him to be able to deal with.
Strand and a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. You must have missed it. It was a very quick game. It ended literally in that one turn. They kind of set up. They did the end of turn, tap everything down. Or at least they only had enough mana to tap down 4 permanents. And then just with the treasure tokens, got them there with triple Hydro Blast into the removal spell, which makes sense because they were sat on it for a while.
It's a long matchup that concludes in a really quick cathartic moment of one turn, crucial.
That's what combo does. That's what combo does.
That's what combo does.
Also, in basically every format, I'm definitely more of an aggro to mid-range player. I don't know why in Pauper I'm drawn towards combo decks. It's just like I just see them. I see these crazy broken things. I'm like, oh yeah, let's do that. I like that. I could do that. And I love this format. I can't say enough good things about it. And I hope if people haven't picked it up, they do start picking it up and just start playing, jamming with friends. And another good thing about Pauper is it's kind of got a bit of a low price point to get into. Obviously, we don't buy our cards. That's Wizards if you're watching. But it's a lower price point. Some cards do have a bit of value to them because they're seen in other formats where it's like the only print of that card in the last 5 years. But realistically, you're not paying the same money that you'd pay for even some standard decks this way. Shield Dread's going through the roof. For the price of some standard decks, you can pick up multiple Pauper decks and I would argue that Pauper is in such a good position, and the format in general is really the way that I would like to invest my money, and I get a lot of joy from playing this format.
Yeah. Last year's in the past was more cheaper than now.
Okay. You're saying
Prices
inflation is a thing.
are getting high right now. For example, the statistically is the Aura that is a core card in the broad scale combo. I think that it will never be playing in any format, in any decks. So it costs 15 cents.
So what's
30 cents. After the spoiler of the card broad scale lizard, it spikes to 3-4 euro.
That's not much. So, but to play
Yeah,
in
but
Magic
it's
tournaments, that's not
much.
much.
Yeah.
But for Pauper, like if
less,
that's the upper, like the shield dreads of the format.
Yeah, compared
then,
to
you know,
a fetch mana base. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's a really good competitive format to get, like, kind of dip your toes in, and plus you get to come to huge events like this. Like Paupergeddon happens every year, and they say we got over 700 players playing just in the main event tomorrow. Not alone being in the room, because we've got all the different artists in the room. We've got, obviously, you say the food and the beer is going to come together. We're in an amazing location. If you step outside the door now, you're literally just surrounded by all these Italian like hills and mountains everywhere. Yeah. The venue itself is a new venue this year. That's still half of it's being
First year
rebuilt.
that we are here.
Yeah.
I really love it.
So do I. It's got air conditioning. But it's very humid outside. But there's these simple things. The hall being having air conditioning. It's got the huge projectors on the screen. So on one side right now, they've got the clock. And on the other side, there's two other projectors that are literally projecting what you're seeing right now. So they're projecting the broadcast. So everybody watching in the room right now, thumbs up to you all. Hope you're all going free over.
They have no audio.
They have no audio.
They
have no idea what we're saying or shouting out to them, because it'd be a bit unfair if they could hear our commentary while literally it's going on. A little bit distracting, this weird English voice shouting out over the top of it. What else we got going on in the chat? Hey, Caffeine Lily's coming. Hey, Caffeine Lily. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it.
She is lovely. Combo points gets crazy ways to win because of all the and you're one of the best combo players in the world, my friend. So I look at you. I literally watch so much of his YouTube videos to prepare for the Pauper when I was getting into it, and I think that's where someone told me I could infect people without combat damage. I was like, okay, and then weirdly now I've been playing that deck, and I'm gonna go on it. I can do it. I've got access to the mic. Pauper Storm. Pauper, Poison Storm.
Just a random deck.
We could probably talk offline, but I think I really want a creature in my sideboard for it, because people board out all the removal because I've got no creatures in the deck. So if I bring in something like a Blighted Agent, manage to get my
Blighted Agent?
Yeah, the 1/1 infector that's
No.
I did get that, bring that in, deal my 1 point of comment, and that's my way of getting the poison damage across.
But you have no way to pump it, for example.
But I've got a lot of proliferate, so all I need to do is get that one damage across.
Bigger snowball.
And it adds one every single turn as well. But I'm sure there's better cards out there anyway, but here we are.
But I think that there are you can't do it with against the red deck, for example, because they don't remove the bolt spell.
I've got the life gain storm deck. It's fine.
Psychological move.
What's the green 2-mana storm gain free? Weather the Storm.
Weather the Storm.
Yeah, I got a lot. I got 4 of them in the deck. It's fine. I don't mind.
Because they don't remove the bolt spell, so they can't remove your creature.
Yeah. But so what I'm saying is I don't really mind about that. I don't think I'd bring it in against the red decks. I think I'll try and.
I think that's more a psychological move. Yeah, here the creature.
I just want to cast infect creatures until the end of time. Okay, I got a Phyrexian. I can't see it. I've got a Phyrexian tattoo. Yeah, you play against me and I hold my hand. You can see this Phyrexian tattoo, and it strikes fear in my opponents.
I'll let you know that the top Pauper player of 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. What, in the Italian Pauper League?
Yeah.
Yep.
This happened, but 2 years ago.
So the winner of that?
The winner played Storm, Poison.
Let's go. Let's go.
That, by the way, that was the first really official edition of the top Pauper player. So we can say
I love that you,
Poison won
the
winner, of the first top Pauper player ever.
I love that, you say the top Pauper player, where people are like, okay, they're the Pauper champion and stuff, but just the way that it's kind of the wording's rephrased to the top Pauper player. You are the top Pauper player. It's cool to see. And we're going to find that out today, remember, because everybody today has qualified from around Europe to come across today to battle it out to that. I'm being told I've got to end the round, but yeah, we're going to finish. Everybody's basically battled it out to get qualified for today, turned up today to, you know, it's like Highlander. There can only be one, right? So we're going to battle out until we crown ourselves a champion this weekend. Before we kick off Pauper again tomorrow, we've got over 700 players turned up to battle it out in over a 2-day event. But this is it for round number 3. We'll be back for round number 4 shortly, so make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.